Hello, my name is Tyrrell Hughes, and I'm an itinerant behavior support teacher for the public schools branch in Prince Edward Island. And today, I thought it might be a good idea for us to take a look at Everyday Speech. Everyday Speech is a social emotional learning platform located online that, above all things, helps students and learners with social emotional learning. So, what I thought might be beneficial is to take a look at the actual nuts and bolts and the logistics of working your way around the website. And perhaps right after that, we might take a chance to think about why something like Everyday Speech. There's probably other platforms out there that I'm not even familiar with that could also be very beneficial for students. But the one that I'm currently most acquainted with is Everyday Speech. So at the end, after we go through the logistics and what it might mean for you day to day and how to access the materials within the platform, we'll take a minute or two to take a look at a couple of reasons why something like Everyday Speech or a curriculum like Everyday Speech might be helpful to ultimately your students, but for yourself as well. So what we'll take a look of here is, and hopefully I can pop it into the side there or there. I'm not sure where it would be, but I'll take you through kind of a test drive of what the platform looks like. So after you're done signing into the page itself, you'll land on this page. Consequently, the landing page. That at the top you've got a few different options that you can look at. Down below you can see some recently viewed materials. Obviously, those will be accumulated after you get more acquainted and you go through the different videos on the website. But it might be an idea to understand it. It's hard to know where to begin when you land on a website like this. Where exactly should I go first? And there's multiple different avenues that you could probably take throughout this website, and some of them will be more effective for some teachers or adults, and some will be more effective for other teachers and other adults. It depends on your style of learning and how you like to set up and go through a website. The one that's seemingly beneficial for me and that I've been sharing with some of my colleagues is with the following. And forgive me if this seems simplistic, but I find it to be helpful when you take the opportunity to go through exactly what you're expected or what you will expect as soon as you hop onto this website. So you'll sign in, and this will be your landing page. Okay. So from here, what we'll do is we'll go to Browse All Materials. So we'll go to Browse All Materials here. There we go. So when we click in, we navigate to Browse All Materials. We'll land here, and you'll be what might seem like inundated with options of drop downs and different tabs that you can go to. And boy, howdy, there's an awful lot of information here, and there's an awful lot of options. So we can get overwhelmed with the amount of options that we do have in front of us right now. Okay, so this is in the Browse All Materials segment of that top menu, and when we land in here through my practice in navigation throughout this platform, it seems as though the best place to go next is to Videos Only. So when we get into Videos Only, we're going to get these options of drop downs. I'm working on, and we have an opportunity to understand exactly what it is that we want to work on. Maybe we're thinking about situational awareness, perspective taking, school rules. You can see, obviously, naturally, we all can see these options. And the skills, as you can see, get updated over time. So whenever we were dealing with the pandemic, there's different materials on that. In general, each different skill that they're talking about here, or curricular outcome, I guess you could say, behavioral curricular outcome that you could see inside of any of these different drop downs. They'll be updated as well over time. So you'll see videos that have been posted there historically. So it could be 3-4 years old, perhaps, or you could see one that was from, well, you can see one in the background here from January 2023. So they keep them updated very frequently. So from there, you're going to let's go with mindfulness videos, just because it's the top options. So mindfulness videos, and who am I doing this with? Okay, so let's say I'm going to be doing this with all ages, pre-K plus kindergarten, let's say. Okay, so this is going to give us the options of pre-K and K, and you can see that there's a slew of different options on mindfulness. So now if we selected something differently, and sometimes you'll go down a section where there isn't as many options, or maybe no options at all. It doesn't seem like that happens very, very frequently to me whenever I'm looking for different resources, but at the end of the day, that's a possibility. So let's go with middle school. Okay, so there's some other ones from middle school, and as you can see, there's some from August of 2020, and these are for elementary school, middle, and high school. So some of them also will be grouped into larger pods as well. So now, if we're looking for just a filler activity, okay, so let's go back and select something different here. Let's go with let's try friendship. Okay, so if we're in the friendship area, and let's go back down to pre-K and kindergarten. Okay, so we see different options for the level that we've chosen based on the skill that we're looking to work with on our particular student. Okay, so if we're going in there, we can let's select the top one to see what we find. Okay, so this is the lesson that comes up. It's usually led off by a video that explains a different scenario, and then it sends you through different outcomes from the lesson that we're working on. Lesson 2 acts to augment that or support those things, and then moving down, you'll see lesson 3 is a way to apply it. Sometimes there's a role play here. Sometimes there's an interactive game that kids can play. The options are different, and it varies for different depending on the topic. So this one in particular is friendship in a certain grade level or cohort level, and it starts with a video, goes with practice with writing, moving on to another lesson on top of that, whether it be an interactive game or some other idea, and then it finishes with a review that you can review with students. And I won't navigate into each and every one of these to show you exactly what's going on, because I think that's it's worth navigating on your own to try and figure that out. But it still allows us, the way that we've gone at this, or the way that I've kind of just explained it. I'll close this out. The way that we've kind of explained this here now is that it sends you through different lessons based on what it is that you're working with. But if you do want to use it as a one-off, that's possible, because you can navigate through all of these different ones. You can see the icon here is a video, but if you navigate down, hopefully you'll be able to see a different lesson. No, not on that one. Okay, so let's go. Oh yes, obviously, because we selected videos only. So this is a good place to start, because it seems as though each lesson, or let's say competency, let's say friendship. So the one that we clicked on here starts with a video. So I don't want to call it a unit. Okay, let's go back here. Oh, that's this one here. Okay, so this section here starts off with a video. Then we go with an activity. Sometimes there's a video, and sometimes there's an interactive game like we mentioned before, and then there's another activity at the end. It seems to follow that sequence each time, but if you wish to have just the activities that you want to work on, or if you've already had this discussion with students as a whole group in a direct instruction situation, and you've already had that friendship discussion, but you're like, you know what, I really like that, I really do enjoy that activity that I do see there, I can pick that out of the air, and I can kind of take that and use that as I see appropriate throughout the day, because we understand that all of our days are very dynamic, and they can switch from time to time or in a split second. So we don't have to go through those each individual lesson. So lesson 1 intro, lesson 2, lesson 3 review. It doesn't necessarily have to follow that chronological order. If you find some value in this activity of saying sorry, then you can pick that out of the air, you can print that off, and you can make use of that if it's appropriate in the context of what it is you're seeing. So there's not a whole lot more to it other than the navigation that you can use on your own. If you wish to have only games that might be more useful for certain students, then you can make use of these games based on what you see from social skills. You can see these different titles. Obviously, they bring up different outcomes. So some of them are based on those overarching goals here, like friendship. But they don't follow down that pathway as nice and tidy as I find if you go to videos only. So if you go to videos only, I find it sets up the chronological order if you so choose to go that route. It sets it up very well that way. Like we said before, I can go. Let's go into a different one, handling conflicts with friends. So if we scroll down, you can see the introductory videos here: introduce, lesson 2, apply, and then review again. It follows that general consequential line of reasoning. So that's very helpful to try and keep things organized. And like I mentioned before, right at the start of this, there's different ways that we can go at this. I've just found that the most effective way in order to try and use your time most usefully is to go to browse all materials and go through those steps that we've gone through with the tabs. So that's just kind of a quick sneak peek on how one way you can traverse through everyday speech. And again, what makes it most effective for you is what's going to make it most effective for your students. So you need to take that with a grain of salt, that this is what's based on my learning style and the way that I like to see things presented, and the user interface that the platform is. This is the best laid plans for me is to go to browse all materials, videos only, put the skill that you'd like to work on with your specific group, individual, or class, and pick the level that you'd like it at.